I'm Dave.
And I'm Jennifer. We're a middle-aged couple with a Regal's Unlimited subscription and a fondness for movie popcorn.
And we're going to talk about a movie we just saw. We just got back from the theater. It's 2025, and we're watching movies in January, so we're watching...
We watched Babygirl.
Babygirl.
Shiznits. Okay.
Do you want to restart?
No.
Okay. So, I feel like this video is going to be a lot shorter than our last one. What can we say about this movie without spoiling it? So, this is a 2025 movie, right? I guess it's technically a 2025 movie. It might have come out in 2024.
It literally doesn't matter. We saw it in 2025. That's all that matters.
Written and directed by Halina Reijn, who we know nothing about.
Yeah. She wrote it?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I missed that.
Starring Nicole Kidman, specifically. It is absolutely her movie.
Yes.
But her co-stars are Harris Dickinson, who...
Otherwise known as the Little Weasel.
Okay. We'll talk about him later. And Antonio Banderas, who both Jennifer and I have a great fondness for as fans of 90s movies. Because we lived through the 90s.
As if that's not obvious.
Yeah. So anyway, so this is a movie about a CEO of a robotics firm, Nicole Kidman, who is clearly has it all and is, at the top of the power structure, but is clearly not fully satisfied with her life.
Yes.
She has become something to get where she is that she's not satisfied with. By which I mean she has put on so many layers of armor that at the beginning of the movie, even when she smiles, you can sense that it has something strategic about it. She's married to Antonio Banderas, has 2 kids, one girl and one non-binary, which I really liked that about this movie, that it was just taken as normal and perfectly fine. Never discussed in the movie. And like I say, she's the CEO of this company when the new batch of interns come in.
Literally come into the office all giggling.
Yes.
Like it's this really interesting, silence and, people are working and there isn't a whole lot of noise. And then there's just like this gaggle of sound and volume and giggliness that you would associate more with like 15-year-olds, but instead are supposed to be people that are like 25 and poorly dressed.
So one of these interns she recognizes, and this is Samuel, although at the time he's never named. He isn't named until much later in the movie, we think, who she'd actually seen earlier that day. There was a wild dog in the street attacking people on the sidewalk, and she had been briefly scared by this dog, and Samuel just comes up and talks to the dog and calms it down and is able to get the dog to stop being violent in the street. And so she is...
And then hands the dog back to its owner.
Yes. So she's already impressed by this guy. And now he's going to be an intern at her company. And it turns out that he is applying for the mentor program, and he's going to be her mentee.
And then sexual hijinks ensue.
He starts acting inappropriate. And it's right from the first, you're like, that is not okay. That is not how people talk to each other in the office. She shuts him down at first, but not entirely. Like she keeps leaving the door open just a little bit. And so he keeps pushing the door open even more. And then suddenly they are kissing in a conference room. And from there, the movie gets increasingly kinky, by which I mean that they enter into a dom-sub relationship, where he tells her what to do, down to what she should drink at a bar, how she should dress and so on. And she does it. And there are times when she's clearly trying to fight back, where she's thinking this is a bad idea, but then she keeps staying and going along with it. And they begin a torrid affair.
That they do.
So
I was dubious about going to see this movie. This is a woman of a certain age with a much younger man, which is not 100% my jam. The much younger man is someone who I have seen in roles before, where he's supposed to be this really sexy, captivating person, and I find him like a little weasel.
So specifically, we had seen him in Murder at the End of the World, which was a show on
Hulu.
Which we really enjoyed, but he played a character that Jennifer especially found gross.
Yeah. The little
mumbly mullet guy with a little mustache.
Mumbly mullet, little mustache. So there's no mullet here, but the little mustache. I can't stand it. I just can't. So, to each their own. So Nicole Kidman of all people is going to be swept away by the little weasel.
Yep.
Instead of Antonio Banderas.
Well, that's the point of it.
Going into the movie, I was dubious about that prospect. In the movie, there are moments where I still felt that way, and moments where I got what was happening, where in some ways it's not actually about him, right? It's about her, and it's about her discovering something about herself and her transformation. And he's the trigger for this, but he's not, in some ways, not the focus of the movie. And that helped me to enjoy it and then not focus on him so much.
I think that in terms of that, this is something we had not seen in a movie like this before. I think we've seen movies where you have this domination-submission relationship, like, say, Secretary is the one that jumps to mind.
I was thinking about that movie through this movie.
I was thinking of, like, Sex, Lies, and Videotape.
Which I've never seen.
Okay. Like a lot of different movies where you see this sort of thing. It's usually played either for laughs or it's played as the man is this big alpha who's going to dominate this little girl and teach her, how to feel. And I feel like this was so much more nuanced than that.
Yes.
This absolutely, you could tell this had a female director and writer. I'm not saying a man couldn't have written this movie, but I think it would have been told from a very different perspective.
There, first of all, would have been more male characters in the movie. There are very few men in this movie, which is fine. It's this corporate, it's this big corporate environment, and even in just the background in the office and in the corporate environment and stuff, like more of the employees are female than male.
So the movie goes into a lot of depth about why she wants this particular relationship, what it means to her, and what it is fulfilling for her. And it doesn't center him.
Yes.
It very much centers her growth and self-discovery.
Yes.
And that was really interesting to me. I think that because she pushes back a lot. It's not just like she realizes that she was meant to be this man's sub. She spends a lot of the movie pushing back and thinking about what she wants out of this.
I guess I wouldn't say pushing back is really the right way to do it, the right way to think about it, because I feel like if there is a pushing back, she's pushing back at herself. It's not that she's pushing back against what he's doing. Yes, that is what she's saying, he'll suggest something and she's like, no, I don't want to do it. But what I really felt like in the context of the whole movie, because you see her going through that even when he's not physically asking her to do something, that what she's fighting back against is herself, right?
Sure.
And her sense that this isn't something that she should be doing. And that when she felt like this was something that she should be doing, then there wasn't the same kind of pushback, right? The pushback isn't him. The pushback is against herself.
And I will say that for all of the nuance that I'm talking about, this is still a Hollywood movie. Absolutely, this is presented as something destructive, self-destructive specifically, and that it's going to have catastrophic results. It's without giving away any more of the plot of the movie. You can tell right away that the movie's attitude towards this relationship is that it's a mistake, that it's a terrible mistake that she's making. You don't feel that way?
I don't think that's true all the way through.
Okay.
I think at the very end, I don't think the movie thinks that.
Well,
I think you feel that way a lot of the way through the movie, but I think at the close, closing credits, music comes down. I don't think it's as that categorical.
right.
At least to me.
Okay, and like any good movie, right? And I think this is a good movie.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be left up in the air at the end. It's
Yeah.
going to be a little ambiguous, and I think that this absolutely fulfills that.
Yeah.
But it's still an American Hollywood movie, and so it's going to be a little puritanical.
A little bit.
And it is. It kind of treats her as not like a freak, but like as somebody who's got emotional problems, and that's why she needs this. No?
I don't feel emotional problems. I feel like a wrestling with who she is and what she likes and what she wants.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not clear at the beginning. So like I feel like at the beginning it is more like unclear what she wants and like why she's interested in this relationship. And I think by the end of the movie it feels like she's gone through a discovery process.
Okay.
And at the end, I think she's satisfied with what she discovered with potential negative consequences.
All I want to say is that to say any more would be spoilers.
Yes,
So we should not
true.
go there.
Yes.
And I think we can say, we both enjoyed the movie.
Yes.
Yeah, it's
It has
beautiful.
it
It's
has
a
sexy
beautiful
sex
movie.
scenes, just like the
Sexy sex
advertising
scenes,
makes you
But
feel like
also,
it does.
the music is great, if very heavy-handed.
Very
There are some
pointed use of very specific
choices.
songs.
There's one music choice that literally had us laughing out loud when we should not have
I've
been
been
laughing.
laughing. Yeah.
And actually, there were a couple, but yeah. But the movie looks great. It is just beautiful. It is wonderfully directed. There were some
It's a New York
amazing.
movie.
Yes, it's a New York movie, and New York looks great in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
There were some sequences that were like montages and like visual collages.
Yeah.
That I felt were just really well crafted.
Yeah.
The two of them are absolutely gorgeous on the camera. I know you still think he's a weasel.
I still do.
Okay.
But like from here down, all good.
And but like the lighting and the cinematography,
Yeah.
the sound design,
it's a well-made
everything
movie.
in it is super well made.
Yeah.
And I really hope we do get to see more from Halina Reijn.
Who is? Did I bother to look her up? No, she may have made 75,000 movies, just none of which I've seen. But
Yeah.
that doesn't mean that she's not actually a prolific movie maker.
And one nice thing about this is I'd like to see more from Nicole Kidman. Like, she's a star. She absolutely has always been a movie star.
I haven't seen her in
appearance.
anything recently,
And, yeah.
except the first Paddington movie, which I watched for the first time a few weeks ago.
And we're regal
which
people.
Which is not dissimilar character in a way, at least the very beginning, and some of the clothing choices and stuff. Like it's actually of a piece. So to see those two back to back is two ends of her journey as an artist, but still this presence on the screen and this presence in and what costuming can bring to that, like being a female CEO, like clearly all her clothing choices are very deliberate, and the movie maker's choice of clothing and lighting and putting her in opposition to the people around her, which is also in some ways done in Paddington, works really well.
And what I was going to say is that we're regal people only by an accident of geography. We don't get paid. We are not sponsored by the real company.
Although we ended our last video talking about Better Man, and what opportunity did we miss with Regal?
We missed
the Monday mystery movie this past week was Better Man, and we didn't go.
Okay, all of this in service of the fact that I was going to say we're regal people, not AMC people. If we were
That's
AMC
true.
people,
We would have seen a lot of Nicole.
seen a lot of Nicole Kidman recently.
That's true. We have. Yeah, I've seen that ad online once.
Yeah. So, but I hope that, this movie proves that she's still got it. I mean, she's absolutely beautiful in this movie. She is, a woman of a certain age, but
Yeah.
she proves that does not mean, a woman of a certain age is not.
It means a
gorgeous.
woman of a certain age is sexy and
Yeah.
sexual, and like I'm not going to be displeased by that being out in the world, but I'm just saying I would probably pick somebody else.
Okay.
That's it. Like you.
So, or Antonio Banderas.
Yeah.
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 So anyway, again, we liked the movie. We think it's definitely worth seeing. It's definitely worth talking about with the people in your life. Maybe not your family, but
It's not a movie to go see with your mom.
chosen family, and significant others.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I'll just wrap it up by saying, I have no idea what to say.
You should go see
about
this movie. We had a good time.
There you go.
It was a great night out. Bye.